Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to this class. I hope every one of you is fine staying at home. Please stay at home, be happy, and be healthy. In our last class, we have learned some part of the lesson, The Little Girl, which was written by Catherine Mansfield. We have understood that the little girl was kept indoors with cold, and her grandmother suggested her to make a pincushion as a gift for her father's birthday. And with a lot of difficulty, the girl has stitched three sides of the pincushion, but she does not know what to fill the pincushion with. So she was searching for some scraps. She wanted to ask her grandmother about that, but grandmother was out in the garden at that time. So she herself started to find some scraps. She went to her mother's room. Near her mother's bed, on the bed table, there were some fine papers. She took all those papers and she tore them into tiny pieces, and then she filled the cushion with those scraps, and then she stitched the fourth side of the pin cushion. That's what happened in our last class. Till there we learnt. And then that night there was a chaos at home. That night there was a hue and cry. There was an angry protest in their house. All the servants were questioned and rooms were searched. Finally, mother came into Kezia's room. Mother asked Kezia, Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on the table in our room. Then Kezia said, Oh yes, I tore them up for my surprise. Mother said, What? Screamed mother. Come straight down to the dining room this instant, she said, and she dragged Kezia to where the father was walking to and fro. The father was very angry. He was furious because those were the papers of his speech. He was going to deliver a speech, and those were the papers relating to that speech for Port Authority. So the father was furious with anger. Kezia's mother dragged Kezia to where her father was angrily walking to and fro. Then Kezia's father asked Kezia, Well, did you do that? Kezia said, No, she said. Immediately, Kezia's father said, Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damn thing. See that the child's put to bed this instant. He shouted angrily. Grandmother took Kezia to her room, and she put Kezia to bed. She was sobbing. She was sobbing. And then Kezia's father went to Kezia's room with a ruler in his hand. Then he said, I'm going to beat you for this. Kezia said, Oh, no, she said. But Kezia's father was very angry at that time. He said, Sit up and hold out your hands. You must be taught once and for all not to touch what does not belong to you. So I'm going to teach you a lesson to you today that you should not touch anything that does not belong to you. So to teach that lesson, I have to beat you. Come on, sit up and hold out your hand. Father said seriously. Down came the roller on her little pink palms. He hit Kezia with the ruler. He did not want to listen to Kezia, who was trying to say, It was for your birthday. It was for your birthday. But Kezia's father hit Kezia with a ruler on her pink little palms. After that, Kezia's father left. Kezia started to sob. She was sobbing. And she said, What did God make fathers for? What did God make fathers for? She was sobbing like that. Meanwhile, Grandma came there to console her. What did she say? Here's a clean hanky, darling. Blow your nose. Go to sleep, Pat. You'll forget all about it in the morning. I tried to explain to your father, but he was too upset to listen tonight. Grandma said so. You blew your nose. Take this hanky and you'll forget all about it in the morning, dear. Go to sleep. I tried to explain to your father, but he's too upset to listen tonight. He's not going to listen to anything tonight. He's very upset. He's very disappointed today. Grandma tried to console the little girl. But the child never forgot that incident. Next time she saw him, she quickly put both her hands behind her back and a red color flew into her cheeks. Her cheeks became red whenever she saw her father after that incident, and she put both of her palms back behind her back. Meanwhile, one day it happened that she saw next door neighbors. Next door neighbors were Mr. McDonald and his family. The McDonalds lived next door. They had 5 children. Looking through a gap in the fence, the little girl saw them playing tag in the evening. They were playing a game called tag. Tag is actually a children's game of catching one another. They were trying to catch each other and they were playing so happily with their father. And one of the children was actually sitting on father's shoulders and reminding children were playing with the father. However mischievous the boys and the girls are, MacDonald never actually scolded them. Little girl never saw MacDonald scolding or treating them harshly. He was so happy playing with them, and all the children were so happy. And it seemed that to this little girl, that there will be different types of fathers. She understood that fathers will be of different types. McDonald is a different type of father, and she has a different type of father because both of them looked so different. Suddenly, one day, Kizia's mother became ill, and she and grandmother went to hospital. The little girl was left alone in the house with Elise the cook. She's Elise the cook. She is Elise the cook. That was all right in the daytime. Daytime she can manage the little girl Kezia, but at night she might trouble someone. So Kezia asked Elise, "What will I do if I have a nightmare?" she asked. "I often have nightmares and then Granny takes me into her bed. I can't stay in the dark. It all gets whispery. She hears some sounds if it is dark everywhere. She gets frightened. As a kid, how many of you have experienced this? I- Personally, I have experienced this. When I was 3, 4 years old, I used to get frightened at the middle of the night, and I used to sleep on my father's chest at the time when I was 3, 4 year old. I used to get frightened for some reason. I don't know. I don't remember what the reason was, but I used to get very frightened, and I used to wake up in the middle of the night, and I used to sleep on my father's chest. That comforted me at that time. Just like that, here, Kizzy also gets frightened. She gets some bad dreams at night, it seems. So, what should I do if I get frightened at night? If I get the same nightmares, then what should I do? She asked Alice. Then Alice said, "You must go to sleep, child, and don't you scream and wake your poor pa. Don't you scream at night and wake up your poor father, okay?" She said like that, and Alice the cook left. What happened at night? She slept. Kezia slept, and same old nightmare came. What was her nightmare? The butcher with a knife and a rope who came nearer and nearer, smiling that dreadful smile, while she could not move, could not stand still, crying out. Yes, the man with a rope and a knife, the butcher, was coming with a dreadful smile. That was her terrible nightmare. That was her bad dream. Immediately she shouted, "Grandma! Grandma!" she shouted. Then father came there. He asked, Oh, what's the matter? What happened? With a candle, he came there and he saw Kezia and he asked Kezia, "Oh, what happened? What's the matter?" Then Kezia said, "Oh, a butcher, a knife. I want Granny," she said. Then what did Kezia's father do? Kezia's father carried her along the passage to the big bedroom. She took her into his arms and she carried her to his bedroom. And a newspaper was on the bed. He put away the newspaper, then carefully tucked up the child. He put the child to bed very carefully, and then he lay down beside her. Half asleep still, the girl is half asleep still with the butcher smile all about her. It seemed she crept close to him. She moved close to her father. She snuggled her head under his arm, held tightly to his shirt. So she moved close to her father and she held tightly to his shirt. Then the dark did not matter. That was the time when she was not afraid. She lay still. She was not moving. She lay still. "Here, rub your feet against my legs and get them warm," said father. Father said, "If you're feeling cold, rub your feet against my legs and you get some warmth," he said. Tired out, he was already tired out, exhausted from his day's work, father slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big after all, and with no one to look after him. He was harder than grandmother. Every day she used to sleep near grandmother, and grandmother used to be so soft. But her father was not as soft as grandma. He was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. I want you to understand this. He was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. Most of the fathers may be hard, but it was nice hardness. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. McDonald. Now she understood why her father was like that. Every day he had to work and he was too tired. He was very tired by the time he reaches home. So he cannot be Mr. McDonald. She had torn up all his beautiful writing. She stirred suddenly and sighed. "What's the matter?" asked her father. She did the wrong thing. She had torn up all his beautiful writing. So, remembering that, she stirred suddenly. Suddenly, she moved and sighed. Then, immediately, father asked her, "What's the matter? Another dream?" Little girl said, "Oh," said the little girl, "my head's on your heart. I can hear it going. What a big heart you have got, father dear." At last, she was able to understand what her father truly is. She put her head on his heart and she could hear her father's heart going. "What a big heart you have got, dear father," she said so. At the end, she was able to understand what her father truly is. Some fathers may be strict, some fathers may be funny, some fathers may share love, some fathers may spend some time with their children, some fathers may be very busy, some fathers may sound rude, some fathers may be very sweet, but all fathers love their children unconditionally. There is no condition for their love. All the fathers love their children unconditionally. When we understand their love, then there is no place for misunderstanding and hatredness between fathers and children. With that, I am going to end this video. I want all of you to read this lesson 4 to 5 times. Open your textbook and read the lesson 4 to 5 times and try to complete the question and answers in the textual grammar as much as you can. Till our next video, take care, stay home, stay safe. Bye.